Yo and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. And it's hard to believe, but it has been a month since I flew up to Philadelphia, hung out with John Keating and Chris Sewell, and acquired the Grail collection. And in the purpose of being transparent, maybe helpful, informative, and just to document the process, I thought I'd give a little 1 month update where we are in terms of the Grail collection and kind of how it's progressed, how we've thought about it, and what decisions we've made on it. And so, first thing I want to say is Chris Sewell has been absolutely amazing to work with. He is easy to get along with. We tease each other a lot now and talk a lot, and that's been a good thing. He's incredibly knowledgeable. He's just got a good sense of the market and how things are, and so I'm very appreciative that he is going along on this ride with us, and that he's a part of it because he's a critical piece. And so I just want to thank him, and obviously John, who made all this happen. It was him that kind of brought me into the fold, and I mean, it's been an absolutely phenomenal experience overall. As you dive into it and dig into it, there were a lot of decisions that needed to be made, and we had to do it relatively quickly that first day in terms of what we were going to divide. And to recap, we basically built three different stacks. A stack of cards that were going to be mine, a stack of cards that were going to be Chris's. John peeled off a bunch of stuff that he wanted for sets and all that, and that was kind of a thank you to him, a finder's fee, so to speak, for him. And then we had a bunch of cards that we decided to share in in what we did with that, making the decisions. Those were going to be shared decisions. My cards were mine. I could do what I want. Chris's were his, etc. But the shared cards is what we've been working on essentially the last month. And from that, there were cards that we thought, okay, we're going to grade these. They were easy decisions. And then there were cards that were nice, but maybe not grade worthy in terms of doing that. And so, let me get into it. In terms of grading, PSA was the only choice for us. That wasn't even a question, just given the market. And we never even considered SGC, if I'm being honest. It wasn't even on the radar to do because the prices have come down a little bit on grading, and we could do some value bulk type submissions. And so it made the cost per card relatively negligible compared to the potential value increase by having it in a PSA slab. So that was a no-brainer decision. Some of the cards had already been graded by SGC by the card shop owner who actually had acquired the collection, and so that decision was already made, and none of those cards were crossed or haven't been yet. I still own several of them, but yeah, those were SGC. But all the stuff we've sent in has been SGC. In total, let me get into some numbers real quick. In total, I put in $80,000 for the collection, plus another $7,000 plus of additional expenses, most of that being grading fees, some shipping, some supplies, some other things that I've had to buy because of the Grail collection. And to me, I consider all of that. It's what's your all-in cost on having this collection, and that's it. So it's a little over $87,000. And I've gotten back so far 60 grand. So just under 60 grand. I'm sorry, that's not right. I've gotten back just under 70,000. I need to put my glasses on and read my notes so that I don't make mistakes like that. Actually, I've just gotten back just under $70,000. So I'm 80% of the way back to break even. And I've still got some absolutely amazing stuff. We still have a ton of stuff at PSA. PSA, we did a total of 382 cards. Some of those are actually already back because they were done at a higher service level because of their value. And so some of the cards are starting to trickle back. Some of the smaller 6 cards here, 7 cards there, 8 cards there. We divided that, kind of divided and conquered. When we were in Philadelphia, we split them up, put piles, and each said, you send these off, Chris, I'll send this other stack off. And so we thought we were going to share that pretty well. It worked out where he ended up spending a little bit more on grading than 1/3 of it, and so, which is the split of everything. So I made that whole with him, and we're square there. But 382 cards, either already graded or in process of grading. Most of them are in bulk submissions, which will take literally months. I've had a lot of people reach out and say, hey, I want to get some of these cards. Let me know when they come back. And I'm like, you're going to have to be very patient because these bulk vintage orders are taking a really long time. It seems like that's a choke point for PSA versus I see a lot of modern orders that are more cards than what we're submitting that are going through very quickly. And it feels like there's just more people available to grade modern cards at PSA than there are the vintage cards. And that kind of makes sense. Don't necessarily like it, but it is what it is. They will eventually come back. And so far, where that money has come from, that 70 grand has been accumulated largely by private sales and people knowing that we have certain cards and wanting to make deals. And so that's happened a lot, quite frankly. I've sold some cards on eBay, which is not something I do a lot, but there were a bunch of cards that were 2007 Gaudi. I actually have, hold on, I'll grab a couple, show you what they look like without messing things up. They look like this. 2007 Gaudi, and this set for whatever reason is insanely popular. And there were, there's a Ruth relic, a Jersey relic, DiMaggio, just amazing players, and apparently rare. I didn't really know how rare it was, but there are some set collectors out there for it that jumped all over it. I mean, the Ruth relic sold for $900 on eBay, and that's pretty nuts. So stuff like that has been happening. Some of the cards that have already gotten back from PSA, the plan is that Chris and I, once I get a couple of orders back, we're going to do kind of a PSA reveal jointly and show you guys some of the bigger cards in terms of value that have come back already and talk through them. And that'll be a really fun exercise. But actually, some of them are already on Chris Sewell's eBay store. So if you want to find them, a lot of people, well, I want to see what you're getting back. Go to eBay, type in Sewell MMO, and I'll actually put that right there. Sewell MMO, and that'll pull up all the cards that are part of the Grail collection that have already come back from grading, and you can check those out. Admittedly, Chris has those priced at higher than comps, let's put it that way, and taking offers for sure, and just kind of seeing, because it's at this point at 80%, I'm 80% whole. I'm like, I still have all this amazing stuff. We're not in a hurry. We're not going to this isn't a fire sale. This isn't, oh my gosh, we got to get all this made whole fast and be ready to go. That's just not the case. The private sales have all gone incredibly smooth, incredibly easy. People have been great. And I've sold some cards, honestly, that I really wasn't excited about selling. For example, there were 2 Roos, the green and the red from 33 Gaudi. Both were SGC 2.5s. Both I sold at the Strongsville show. But those 2 cards, I sold them to a dealer and I got 90% of comps. That's pretty good on a cash sale. And I was like, as much as I wanted to keep those cards, those are 2 cards on my ultimate want list. So it's like, well, Mike, why would you sell them? And the answer is because you can't keep everything. You have to sell something. And so that's why I made that decision. Someday, ultimately, I'll have to buy those cards back, someday, somehow, some way. But yeah, that was just more of a taking care of a big chunk of it. Literally a quarter of the money almost was, received back just by selling those 2 cards. So that was a big deal. Let's see. Yeah, by and large, though, there's a bunch of cards coming back from PSA, even in this first order, that I plan on keeping. And so Chris has some cards that have come back from PSA that he is keeping. And so how are we tracking all this, you might ask? And the answer is a giant Google sheet. And he and I are putting things on there as we're getting stuff back or whatever. And if Chris gets an offer on a card on eBay, he texts me, what do you think? And, it's been a collaborative effort that has worked really well. But we have a keeper tab also of cards that, these are coming back. These are shared cards that we want to keep. And so Chris has a few of those. I'm going to start having quite a few of those. I'm probably going to end up keeping a lot of the Diamond Stars. There's a Greenberg rookie, 34 Gowdy, 39 play ball DiMaggio, Pete Rose rookie. These are all cards, again, at PSA now that when they come back, they will likely go in my keeper pile, which is great, which still leaves us plenty to sell, plenty to make up that last 20% of cost. And it's so, at this point, a month in, I would tell you it has gone extremely well. I'm thrilled with the process. I've been having fun with the decision making. I've been having fun working with Chris. So I have 0 bad things to say. And ultimately, I'm going to get to keep a ton of great cards in my collection. So that was really kind of the point of the whole thing, truthfully, is to get some great cards. And it's why I wanted to be involved in the first place. So that is kind of where we're at, a month in. And be looking for some PSA reveals over the next few weeks. We'll be doing that. And then I don't know how often I'll give these updates, but periodically I'll kind of let you know where we're at. Maybe monthly is good enough, I think. I like everything, I expect things to slow down. I expect us to be in a wait and see pattern as we continue to see PSA, the cards go through the PSA abyss, and as they come back to us. So there's a lot of waiting that'll happen and all that. The ultimate idea might be something we've talked about that might happen in the future is most of these cards, I should say, all the stuff in the value bulk submissions will be coming back early July, would be my guess, mid-July. Well, by then the National's upon us, and so we're not going to probably mess with anything then, but it's very possible that, and this is again something we've talked about, going to a Dallas show, setting up at a Dallas show together, likely in September, and having a lot of these cards available for sale at the show that come back from the grading. So that would be super fun. So that's all I got for now. And let me know what you think down below. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Ask any questions you want. I'll answer them. Keep collecting.